Hello and good afternoon. Sorry about that. We've been having some problems at this end. Um, as you can see on, if you can see two screens on here, so we are trying to sort it out as fast as we can. And I hope we are live, which we are. Afternoon, Ollie. Sorry for getting you to wait.
Oh, that's okay. I actually had technical issues, so it worked out.
We all got technical issues lately, don't we?
Yeah,
Anyway, it's
today's
about
the
time.
day.
It's about time a lady kind of like waited for a man anyway.
I think you were worth waiting for, so thanks, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you. No, 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 behave yourself. We're all live, but um, a phone call or text later will do. Right, okay. Um, yes, good afternoon, Ollie. Good. Relationships. Now, I why I brought relationships up this time is because we all go through some sort of relationship. And I want to talk about relationships with couple relationship, not relationship with your children, but relationships between partners, husband, wives, whatever. And um, and what happens into a relationship because someone said to me the other day, said Steve, I haven't had an argument in my whole entire life since I've been married. And I went next to somebody, I went, whoa, whoa, whoa. So I think it's partly both. You do kind of like have arguments, and even if it's like taking a dog out and it's your turn to take the dog out or the cat or the tortoise, whatever, for a walk. So, what do you think, Holly?
I think we're all individuals that then join one union, and that means we're going to have different opinions. We should have different opinions. We're going to assess different situations differently, not the same. Just because you pick a partner doesn't mean you mirror them.
Yeah,
You don't. And okay, like what's your temperament, right? What's your temperament? What's your partner's temperament? I think it's not a simple like that's great. If there's a relationship and you guys never have fights or argue and you're polite with each other, that's great. And if that works for you, perfect. I'm a fiery individual. I am passionate, and with passion comes great sex on one end, but the other end comes with fury, right? So when something angers you, there's going to have you're going to get that same level of attention when I'm passionate and like wanting you, and that's awesome, right? They're like, "Yes, I want that." But then on the other end of that, I'm coming at you the same way with some heat.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
when there's a disagreement. Now, as I've matured and aged, I have, I have more tools. I'm calmer. My demeanor's better. I approach these things with a more mature um, approach, right? But that I think you have to look at it because you can have one relationship and you have all these specialists, right? Specialists
Yeah,
that come on there and say, oh no, this is not good. But who's to judge that? You see some of these happiest couples and
yeah,
they know, oh, my husband's in a bad mood, or I'm in a bad mood, or my wife's in a bad mood. Like you ebb and flow with how they react to you and to the environment. And it can be a beautiful, stable, healthy relationship, and you still have that bickering or that arguing that happens when you have a disagreement. And it would be nice to say that we could all keep a stable mind and go into a discussion clear headed, calmly, with a mature outcome. But that I don't think is realistic most of the time in actual relationships. It's one thing coming from somebody that learned a textbook, it's another when you're actually trying to live your life and you have true emotions and and when you do love somebody, when you do care about somebody, those emotions are strong. So when you strongly want to protect them, right? And what when we actually break it down, where does it come from? Is it because we're protecting them? Is it because we're protecting us? Is it an old wound that we personally have? Like when you actually take the time to navigate, why did this become an argument? And I think if you love the individual, if you care about the relationship, you will take that time afterwards to sort of look over it and think, how do we prevent this from happening again? Or why did this happen? This didn't feel good. And so if you take that care and that time to actually assess your part, whether you think it's their fault or not, right? You reacted. So regardless, an argument is because you reacted. Period. Like it takes two people to
Of course, yes,
react.
yeah,
Yeah. So I think as I age, I take more time in actually assessing, why did this even happen in the first place? How can we prevent it? And some of my husband and I's arguments are honestly some of the funniest stories we have to look back at, because they were just so ridiculous, and it's something we actually laugh at now. Like it actually made our bond stronger, because we realized we're imperfect, right? The Bible says we're imperfect,
of
right?
course,
So he's imperfect, I'm imperfect, and it's about wanting to have a good relationship. If you both want the same thing and you're arguing over the same topic essentially, right? Why? You really have to peel back the onion layers and figure out, well, where is this coming from? Is
yeah,
it coming from, past trauma? Is it coming from, what somebody called you on the playground when you were 12? Like where's it coming from? Where's the defensiveness coming? Because a lot of times it's a shield we put up. Like, this is the safe person that's in our space, but now the shield is up because we feel threatened, right? We feel threatened, whether it's our intellect, whether it's physically, whether it's personally. There's this, well, they don't agree with me, and they're supposed to be on my side, or you're just irritated with a person, like COVID, right? Stuck inside with the same person and not really, some places they weren't really allowed to go.
yeah, yeah.
You
So
had
what
to,
makes so
schedule
what?
shopping.
Yeah. So what? So what really kind of like make a good relationship then?
Um, I personally think you have to be attracted to the person. I think intimacy is a huge part of a relationship, whether that be, you know, sexual or not. So, touching, right? We know with mothers and infants that the kangaroo care is so powerful for those little babies to touch each other. So having a relationship where you touch, where you communicate. I just recently, I went to throw some garlic in the cart, and the cart was probably 10, 12 feet away, and there's really nobody in the grocery store, so I wasn't worried about pelting somebody with my garlic. But I just threw it, and I threw it a little too far. My husband wasn't even looking at me, but he caught it. And I'm like, man, we're in sync. And so when you flow with a person, right? When you flow with the person, when you're able to communicate in a healthy way, but that doesn't mean that you don't get mad. It doesn't mean that sometimes you don't raise your voice or you guys get in this passionate situation. Now, obviously, we don't want that to translate into physical harm, because that would be abuse and that's not okay. But what I'm talking about is that passion of wanting the person to agree with you so that way you guys could be okay, right? That's really what it comes down to, is there's a miscommunication, and you desperately want the person that you love to see what you're saying. So if you just hear the person, if you listen, if you respond before putting your opinion in there with, I hear you. I hear you. Let me see if I understand. Some, maybe even paraphrase what they just told you, repeat it, so that, yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes, you're interpreting my words correctly. Then bring your opinion. It goes a long way, because your partner wants to be heard
Mm.
more than anything, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm a woman and I'm coming to you saying, I'm tired, I have all the kids, I don't want to make dinner, I don't feel good, and you get, well, I'm hungry, right? You get that from the husband, that's going to cause an argument. If the husband goes, I'm sorry that you're having a bad day, I hear you, I'm really hungry, what should we do? Like, you can't, you just have to pivot a little to really lower the escalation of an argument.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
it's all it takes is a little pivot. But
Oh
I
yeah.
think it's unreasonable to think that there's these, um, you know, perfect relationships that don't get heated, that don't disagree on topics. There's there's some very reasonable couples that maybe never really have arguments, but they have debates, right? And they go their whole relationship still debating the same topic because they don't see eye to eye. And I think it's okay to not agree, right? We don't have to agree on everything, but having the
Yeah.
foundation is so important. So before you get into a marriage or a long-term relationship, do you agree? A lot of times we don't know until the situation arises. Like, okay, you get together when you're younger, you're not thinking about kids yet because you're working on your career. Then it comes time to children and you haven't discussed it. Well, that breaks up a lot of relationships, because this person says, no, we're doing this. And this person says, no, I'm adamant we're doing this. And so, foundational religion, it needs to be discussed, right? What do you believe in? What do I believe in? Are we okay if we don't believe the same thing? How are we going to raise our children? And not like you're going to check the box and have all the answers, but having a good foundation there, having a good idea of, we want our children to go to this school, or we want them to be raised in this religion. Those are really key parts going into something that you should, into a relationship, that you should know, because if you don't, they are the things that seem to break apart the relationship.
Okay. Okay. How about this one here? Sorry, I made some questions before I got on here. Because my memory's going blank this week. It's unbelievable. Um, if there was something that you needed to talk to your husband about that you haven't yet, what would it be?
Oh, I've talked to my husband. I'm very open with my husband. Extremely, probably more so then I would say 90%, if not more, people are. So there's there's nothing really I could say here that um I'm extremely open with him.
Okay.
Extremely. Like those, the deepest thoughts that you would maybe not share, I share.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, if you if you could relive a year in your life, what age would you choose?
To relive,
Yeah. Yeah,
gosh,
odd questions, isn't they?
I don't know. So, my answer would be none if I
Right.
could answer that, just because there were some years that were fun that would be fun to just go do again. But here's the thing, if I go back in time, am I who I am today? Those every event that I've been through in my life helped build who I am today. So to take any of them away, I guess if I had to just relive it but not rewrite it, it would probably be my 20s, like early 20s, so probably 20 years old, because I was wise enough, I had fun, I was free loving. It was fun. I was just fun.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, if I had to just relive it and not change anything, that would probably be it.
Okay. Okay. Um, this is about your house. So it's
Okay.
containing everything that you own, and it catches fire after saving your loved ones and pets. You have time to save something. What would it be?
So, I because my house did burn down, I was not in the house, but I very much had to think about what would have I done if I got here sooner. So, of course, I would have gotten my family, my pets, things that were alive out first, but then honestly, it would be a panic to get paperwork, money, things like more business type things out. As far as sentimental things, those were the last. Those were the things that hit me
Yeah.
later. And I thought, man, I can't replace that. I can't, I had stuff from my great 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 grandmother, and things that were knitted from Iceland. I can't replace those, but it was the last thing in my mind. It was something that in my healing I would sob about, like that's gone, because I didn't really even remember that I had it until I didn't have it.
Okay.
So, um yeah, and honestly, I mean, I was able to go through the rubble and get a few items out, jewelry wise, but it was all damaged. Um, and I can't honestly say that I'm upset about it at this point. It happened. I don't, trying to make sense of why it happened, but uh the Bible that singed, with God all things are possible,
Yeah.
that made it.
Yeah.
I that's what I took from that. I took away that God is greater than any devastation you're going through, and um man, if that didn't speak volumes to me in that moment, it did. It changed me.
Okay, okay. Um, if you hang on a second. In any of your relationships that you had, um, what was the biggest fear of them? What really kind of like, what was the biggest fear? I know part of your story already, but it says what is your biggest fear. So about that could be anything about you know,
So, with relationships,
yeah,
I was always I was very confident going into them, but I was very insecure at the same time. So, I didn't want I didn't want to feel worthless, if that makes sense. My being abused at such a young age made me feel worthless. My parents, the way they verbally abused me, physically abused me, sexually abused me, left me feeling less than. And that, I guess, would be my biggest fear. And that's actually been one of the hardest things I've personally had to work through while being in the relationships, because when that gets triggered, I get defensive, right? And so it's been very challenging. And fortunately, my husband is very, very patient with me. And he realizes, oh, she's responding. I mean, he's just been really great in that way. And also, I guess, um, not not that it bothers me, because a lot of the relationships I was in, I shouldn't have been in, right? It was me being a dysfunctional version of myself, picking dysfunctional people, right? Picking them for the wrong reasons. Always a
yeah.
bodybuilder.
What
I
was
used
what?
to,
Hang on for a second.
yeah,
Let's stop there. So you said that is a good point, Holly, because you said I picked them for the wrong reasons.
I
So
did.
is that because of loneliness, or you wanted somebody to love you? Because when somebody actually go through abusive behavior, like someone being actually abused, they want to
I,
try to find comfort.
yeah. Well, and that exactly is it. So I would go into these relationships because, oh, they picked me, so I felt worthy, right? It still goes back to the worthlessness. So in that moment, I feel worthy. I was chosen, instead of me choosing a partner because they're worthy of me, right? Like, it's a partnership, picking, going in, hey, like, do you have a good job? What do you do for fun? Like, having common interests. No, it was 100%. I felt worthy in that moment. So then they got my attention, right? And then of course I had my checkbox, especially when I was younger. They had to be a bodybuilder. They they had to have like tan skin. Like, my husband is the exact opposite of what I was initially attracted to, by the way. Like, he's the exact opposite. So it's it's sort of funny where I started and where I've ended up, because and people question, people that know me, they question, like, why did you pick him? And
Mhm.
and when things aren't working and you have a bad pattern, you have to open your mind and open your heart. And I picked my husband for the right reasons, not the wrong ones. And so understanding that pattern that I had was a pivotal mark in my self development, I would say, to make better choices.
Okay, okay. So, um, where is it to? Sorry about this. Um, so if you could have, so when you met your husband, was it, were you kind of like, did you actually fall in love with them there and then? You know, some people do. Or was it, oh, I'm glad I found you because I need somebody to love me?
No, I've known my husband since he was 3 years old. So he
All
moved on
right.
my block when he was three. So I've known him my whole life. We didn't really like each other that much. Like
Oh, nah.
we hung out. We were the like back then in the 80s you had the block,
Yeah.
like we had the kids. Like so we went to Bible studies together, campfire together, all the birthday parties together. His best friend was my little boyfriend. He had a crush on his sister. So like we all were very tight knit and slept over at each other's houses. It was just, like he was just part of my life. And then we sort of got away from each other when I moved off the block when I was about 13. But then we reconnected. And I got I gotta be honest, when we went to meet up, I hadn't seen him in years. And so I had ran into a neighbor that I didn't recognize because we were so much older. And so he kept approaching me at the gym and talking to me. And I thought, like he was just so friendly. And so I'd invited him to an event. I invited him and his family to an event, and he's like, "Well, why don't you invite Brandon?" And I'm like, "How do you know Brandon?" And then he's like, "Well, I was your neighbor." He thought I knew who he was.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't. I honestly, he looked just like one of my friend's brothers. So I thought it was my friend's brother and I was like, okay, well, maybe it's him that keeps talking to me. So I didn't realize I knew this guy at the gym. And so that's how Brandon and I reconnected. And when I first saw him, I was thinking, I remember him because when he got in high school, he started to gain weight, wasn't really that attractive, at least to me. And so I thought I was going to meet up with this nerdy, overweight, you know, he was always bossy. So I had in my mind, I had this little checklist of who he was already. And it was sort of a life lesson to not, we put these prejudgments on people. I definitely put one on him. And when we met, he's this tall, slender, dark haired man. And I was attracted to him, which was odd because I never really was before. And we just clicked. We just clicked. I can't explain it. So I wouldn't say I loved him right away. I've always cared about him because we grew up together. But I'd say very quickly those feelings grew in a loving way, very quickly. And we got married very quickly. So our first date, we always celebrate every year. We celebrate our first date, which was November 4th, and we also celebrate the day that we got married, which is March 7th. And so literally started dating, got married in March. So
wow.
that's how quickly we chose each other. Um, and I'm not gonna say it was. I don't believe in fairy tales anymore. I don't think that's realistic. But we chose each other. We've done the work. We didn't give up when things were hard. Those hard times bond you in ways where you go, oh, we made it through this, right? So I think in today's world, so many relationships just give up because they think, oh, I have other options because I can swipe left, I can swipe right. And from a holistic standpoint, we have senses, right? So there are hormones we can smell off the individual. There's energy. You have to physically be around a person realistically to know if
Oh
you
yeah,
want them. Like the
yeah,
dog smelling the butt. I will bring that up again. Like, are you my friend? Nope. Like we as humans have that as well.
yeah.
But we are drowning ourselves in scent beads and perfumes, and we're desensitized, so we aren't hormones like birth control. This all disrupts that system.
Gosh, gosh. Um, what was I going to say? Sorry, I'm
Oh no.
getting a lot of messages in about relationships and everything. Um, Cassie, Steve, yeah. Can you message me in a bit, and I will give you some paperwork and some telephone numbers, for you to get some help. Just StephenBeer40 at yahoo.com. Just email me. I'll get you some help straight away. Thank you for contacting me, and thank you for believing in me. But we will get you the help, okay? As soon as possible. Ollie, the trouble is about these relationships these days. You know, you're right because you know when the tough gets going, it at the first of a relationship, everything's all right. There's sex flying around. Not flying around, but you know what I mean. It's good. It's you're cuddling up together, and
Yeah.
after so many years, you seem to be like one sits in one chair, one sits in the other. You're still married. You still love each other. You still feel the same feelings about somebody. But sometimes people get bored,
Yeah.
and then what they do is they give up their relationship, so they go out there, either have an affair with
Yeah.
somebody else, or kind of build a relationship with somebody else, or kind of think, well, no, it's okay. I'm going to get through this. And the trouble is, I keep saying to people, why do people get married,
Yeah.
form a relationship, then when the tough gets going, they just leave it, they just give up on it?
Yeah.
What's the point?
I mean, I'm gonna always bring it back biblically, because the Bible, the consummation of marriage is the child, right? So the point
Yeah,
is, if you want a family, you want that child, that is the bond, and you want stability. I have an ex-husband. My first child was with that ex-husband. It is a nightmare. I can't I can't even candy code that. Having separate households, and there is reasons to leave, so I'm not saying you stay in an abusive situation. You should not be being verbally, sexually, physically assaulted in any way. So if that's you, you do need to get out of that relationship and get some help, right? Because that is not safe for you or your child. But um when you're in a marriage, that gives stability, the foundation, right? So your foundation in my world should be God, right? And your religion, and then you keep that bond with the child, and that child then gets a stable home and becomes stable themselves.
yeah,
And so we right now we see all these relationships breaking up over stupid arguments. And the funny thing is, it's not even what they're arguing about. A lot of times when you break it down, it is some emotional distress within the individual, right? So
Yeah.
there's the one partner is picking away for me that you're worthless, right? So that's getting triggered. It's getting triggered in different ways. And then what's really crappy is the person learns how to trigger you, right? So then maybe they're mad at you, so then they purposely trigger that insecurity within you. And so if that doesn't get addressed, it makes a division in the bond. And then, okay, you get busy, you don't go to church, you lose your faith, right? The bond, the foundation, that's going to crack. It's going to crack if you don't work on it. Relationships take work. And I am the person that leaves. I am the person that gets bored. But I have been this November, my husband and I have been together for 18 years. And
Wow.
I am that person. Um, and why did I stay? You have to you have to do some things you don't really want to do. Like, do you get the couch with the cup holder because you'd rather have your cup there, or do you get the couch where you have the option to cuddle your husband, right? So my husband and I, that's a non-negotiable. We get couches where we can touch each other because that keeps that connection when things are stale, when things are boring, right? We have to work on the excitement aspect, right? So it's and I'm the one I'm exploratory. I like things that are spontaneous, and definitely all the things I've done in my younger years, no way could I do them today with all the cameras everywhere, right? So no. Like my husband and I were just talking about that. I'm like, oh my gosh, could you imagine? We couldn't do any of that. So you have to keep things. It takes work. It takes
Yeah.
okay. Do I you see the costume, you're like, oh, that's sexy. Well, do you buy it? It doesn't have to be Halloween. Do you buy it just so that you have fun in the bedroom with your husband and it's a surprise? um he will take me to places, like he knows I love the beach. So one year he had a whole scavenger hunt for me where I had to, and it was filled with everything that I love. So we went to go to an escape room, and he took me to a turtle rescue. Like it was so
Took,
thoughtful.
he,
But
took you, he took you to the escape room so you can beat,
that's right.
beat the thing out of him.
Well, and those things either go really well or we get really intense, and I'm like, move out of my way. You're not getting it. so, so those either go really well for us as a family, or we're like yelling at each other because we're not figuring it out right away.
Yeah, yeah,
It would be fun to be a fly in a wall watching us do an escape room for sure. But like you have to work on the relationship. So we go to church every Sunday. We go to Bible study. We stay connected. We ask each other about each other's day. We try to resolve stresses that each other have, right? So we're thoughtful, and hey, things can be brought up in a thoughtful way. Hey, you're eating that, but you shouldn't be eating that. Like that's a food
yeah,
that's gonna make you sick, right?
yeah,
So I mean, it takes work. It takes work to last this long. And yeah, there are attractive people out there that would be willing to touch you, right? But here's the thing. I've had enough sex in my life with enough people in my life. It's a moment. It is one moment. It's one passionate moment, and you feel guilty when it's all over, right? You're gonna feel guilty more than likely when it's all over. And is it worth Is it worth it? And if you put that energy into your actual partner, it's magical because you love the person. It's not just sex.
No.
It's not a moment. It is a connection. It is a
Yeah.
love. It's more, right? So explore a different position, explore a different room, like make it fun again. You can. I promise you, you can because I've been doing it for 18 years. So you can.
Right. Okay. So don't do it. Don't go to the broom cupboard because that's a small place. Please believe me, the time now. Anyway, we're gonna go for an advert, and we're gonna be right back after this.
How's it
Brilliant.
going over there?
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, yeah, it's really good. Brilliant. We've got loads of questions coming in, so we're trying to be another 5 minutes, 5 to 6 minutes. All right.
All
I know you.
right.
I know you're a busy woman.
I'm so busy.
On on
I think it's mostly my OCD that keeps me like super occupied on everything that I shouldn't be doing, but
yeah,
I just
yeah,
add it in. I'm like, oh, I can do that today. I can do that.
yeah. Shame about Dolly Parton, wasn't it?
Yeah. I had a feeling though, because she was really close with her husband. I mean,
Yeah,
how, from what
yeah,
we know publicly, and they'd been married for years and he had passed away just recently, so I thought possibly she would go next.
yeah,
Typically
yeah.
when you have those tight bonds, that the partner doesn't, follows shortly behind them. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's yeah,
she did
God.
so much good. She did so much when we were in Tennessee. She has a program there that also what you do, like, it doesn't matter your income, anything. You just go on this website and she gives children free books.
Yeah, yeah. I heard
And you
about
just,
that.
yeah, just good person.
Yeah, yeah.
She helped a lot of people.
It's nice when someone can come in and make you a nice cup of coffee. So far, I've got a Coke. Now I'm going to have a coffee.
Now you're gonna have a coffee.
I love it. Can you do my tea too? No, she's not listening. It's my
In the
carer.
bin. In the bin.
Be quiet, baby. So as I come over, as I come over and sort you out, couldn't sort out a flea. Yeah. Oh no. Do you want me to do the advert now before we go on to the thing? Okay. Yeah. Fine.
You've been married a long time now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is why I'm trying to escape.
Oh, you're
Hang on for a sec. Just got to give this advert. Hang on. Hi, it's Steve here once again from Crossroads Podcast UK. Guess what? We got two more awards. Well done. Well done, everybody out there, and it's great. And just to say that next week we've got one great big week where we're celebrating our 10 years that we've been on there. Wow, 10 years. So we've got lots of surprises coming on, and I can't tell you who he's going to be. It's going to be some singers. It's going to be It's going to be a really good week, busy for me. I think we got around about 15 podcasts, shows on, and don't forget to join us from 10 o'clock till 4 p.m. every day next week. There you go. So watch out for what we got because it's going to be good and it's coming your way. Bye for now. Bye. Oh no, it's terrible, isn't it? I'll do it again later. Yeah. 9 to 5. Playing Johnny Parton at the moment.
Oh, yeah, we
Nine.
played her too. We
Yes.
played
So
Jolene.
yeah. Jolene, Jolene. Oh, sorry. I can't. I can't sing. Sorry.
Me neither. My kids tell me all the time, "Mom, you're
Yeah.
horrible. Be quiet."
Yeah. Okay. 10 seconds. Thank you. Hello and welcome back. We're talking about relationships. Now, I remember, I was just thinking earlier about um, my relationship with my beautiful wife. I've got to say my beautiful wife because she's next to me and I don't want her to hit me or anything because today I feel a little bit, flexible and she touches me, I break and everything. But anyway, so quickly I want to tell you that when I first met my wife at school, we were friends, but she never liked me. No, she didn't. She didn't want me. And I used to take a mick out of her dirty white bag and everything. Um, and things get so. Then the years grew up and everything. We lost contact and everything. Then I put her thing out on the school reunion, and she came along to the school reunion. And all of a sudden, it's like Ollie said, in the beginning, you're thinking, oh, you're going to be in a relationship, things are going to work out. Next minute, right? She said, oh no, I'm not going to go out with him. He's just a little spiky person. Sorry, I can't remember what it is. But she was good at with my best friend. But anyway, the years went on, school reunion, things like that. Then all of a sudden, I asked her out, and yeah, that's it. And we got married, and she likes me. So, you know, things work out in the end, don't they? And we've been married now for quite a long time. And do I regret it? No, I do not regret it. I've got a lovely, gorgeous wife. I'm lucky, but she's a bit bossy, and that's the trouble. That's the trouble, isn't it? Women can be bossy sometimes, can they?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was slow.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I would just like to call it assertive. I'm very assertive with what I want. You call it bossy.
but but when you go into like a relationship, next week we'll be talking about you know um, the second part of relationship, talking about failure in a relationship, what happens to, and we all kind of like when we get into a relationship and it's good and everything and it's excitable and everything, and we got to keep it going every day, and sometimes that can be tough for either of us, and you've got to just kind of like got to keep it going, and sometimes it's difficult to please. Is that the word or not?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially after the birth of a child, I think that's probably where you see this the most. There the attention's going to the child, there's a disconnect, there's more of a bond with the mother and the baby typically, not always, but typically. And so then the man is felt left out, right? He's not really part of the bond. And um he still has needs, right? He has needs, and I'm not just talking sexually, but he has needs emotionally. And so acknowledging that they're still important, they still matter, you still need them, you still want them, right? Um and I think that goes, I mean that's just one example, but that goes both sides throughout the relationship where and I think that's why people cheat. One of the reasons is their needs aren't being met. And a lot of times it's not a physical need, it is an emotional need. So it's for me feeling worthy, right? So here's this individual wanting to give me this worthiness that I'm not getting in my current relationship, right? So we're going to seek that. And then what follows that physical desire to feel wanted. So it's a trap. It's a trap because if you sit and you talk with your spouse and go, man, it's really hard right now. Yeah, it is. It is. You might have 3 months and it's hard, right?
Yeah.
It's hard. You're not doing all the things. You don't have the energy to put
Yeah.
into the relationship at that moment. But you can have a discussion around it and say, hey, it's going to get better, right? It's going to get better.
Yeah.
Let's take some time. If you have a sitter, you don't want to leave the baby. I'm just using the baby as an example.
Yeah.
There's lots
Oh
of
yeah.
different
Yeah.
situations, but you go take the baby to the grandparents, you go out, you date your spouse, right? I date my husband, and we are drastically different. So he loves NASCAR, I'm not that into it, but I go for him, right? I don't just go for him. I wear whatever, whoever he likes at the moment. I'm wearing the number. I'm wearing the color. I got the hat. I show up for him to make him feel valuable, to make him feel special. Is it because I like NASCAR? I could care less. I even agreed to do a ride along, which, if you've ever done one of those, even in the little fireproof suit, it gets so hot in there. I told him, I'm like, I can never do another one of these again, but I did one of those for him just to make him feel special so we could bond and share something. He absolutely hates musicals and theater and orchestra, and I love it. So we're completely opposite. But what does he do? He goes and takes a nap at every at every orchestra performance he takes me to.
So
But he
are
shows
you
up.
saying
He
are
shows
you
up.
are you saying then you go around in a fireman seat?
You have to. So when you go in a race car, and like the NASCAR type race cars,
Oh no, you
you
go
have
and
to put a fire suit on. Yeah.
yeah. So it's not like a fireman who puts fires out. It's just a NASCAR.
It's the NASCAR, yeah, and
All right,
you
'cause-
have to have a
all
fire
right,
suit on.
all right. Sorry, silly me, because I was thinking about you wearing a fireman's outfit with a tank on your back, with a
Oh
mask
yeah,
on your mouth. Yeah.
oh yeah.
And I was thinking, hang on for a sec. No way, no way, can't be. But you never know. It surprises. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna get onto some questions. I can't answer all these because we've got loads, and thank you very much for every week. And it's been really, really, really good. Ollie in a minute. I'm not going to tell her how we're doing because Ollie in a minute will be asking me for lots of money and everything, and she might bankrupt me. But anyway, let's go for questions. Both of you, right? Okay. Um, when was what do you what is the best part of your partner? Best part
Uh,
of your partner? Ex. No, 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 no. Miss that. Sorry, no, I'm not going to go there. Um, if you date, is your partner jealous?
No. No, and this has actually caused some issues throughout our relationship because
Snap.
I need to feel worthy. I don't want to feel worthless, right? So in our relationship, he is flat out, if you want somebody else, if you want to make that choice, go do it. There's no fight in him to keep the relationship, right? It's simply, I'm not going to stop you from being yourself. So if you want to make that choice for yourself, just know I'm not going to be here when you come back, but go ahead and do it. And so we probably, I'd say 10 years in, finally sat down and had a conversation. It took us 10 years to get to this conversation. But 10 years, I sat down and I thought, don't you want me? Don't you want this relationship? And he very thoughtfully told me his opinions and his views on, hey, I don't want to prevent you from being yourself and living your life, and you I don't want to make choices for you, right? Because if we want that person so bad that we're willing to make choices for them, is that really a good healthy relationship? Because
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
desperately trying to keep them.
Yeah.
So that, no, he's not really. He can sometimes get I mean, he's protective of me. But jealous, no.
Right.
Nope.
Okay. I've got to leave it there because sorry, not all the questions, but I've got to leave it there. But thank you very much, Holly, for
Yeah,
another week.
thank you, Steve.
It's always enjoyable, and everybody saying pay, pay. Um, okay. And I hope you're aware of things now. Right, sorry, folks, but have to go because I got to go. Sorry, I could be on you for hours, but anyway, thank you, Ollie, and see you very soon.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye.